When I was a kid, I taught myself how to draw. I had a bunch of how to draw cartoon characters and other how to draw books. One of the things I didn't like was that it would always tell you to, put in shapes like circles and rectangles to flesh out the body, and then eventually put on all the details. But what I didn't like about that was that it felt like I was just going to end up uh, erasing all of that anyway. And I hated erasing because I'd always leave all these smudges and the drawing would always end up looking really dirty. So I avoided drawing these shapes, and so my drawings would always look kind of, I don't know, like a kid drew them. I will say that when I was a little kid, I used to wonder why the other kids would draw the animals that they saw differently than I did. So one of the things that I would see often is, we're supposed to draw a dog in class, and this could be a dog, it could be a cat, but either way it would look like this. When I would draw it, I would draw it like this because I figured it had to have some kind of dimension. You had to look at it and actually believe that it was standing there. And then I would look up and see the other kids draw it like this, and I don't know, I always wondered why they drew it that way. And it could just be because I was paying attention to things like how cartoons are drawn, again, taught myself how to do things. I had a lot of access to books that would teach you how to draw. When I got to my day job, before I quit, the artists there were fantastic to talk to. I haven't drawn like that since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I had hours to draw things. Didn't matter if people liked it or not because I was trying to make it look great, and I didn't have to worry about selling it. I didn't have to worry about making it look good enough compared to everything else out there. It was my drawing, and I could, I don't have no idea how long it took me. I probably spent hours drawing a single picture. But when I hung out with the artists at my day job, it was kind of cool because they were teaching me some things. I would doodle with them. I haven't doodled in a long time, and they would teach me things along the lines of action that you should have in a drawing. So, for example, I have a couple of things I drew here. I created this line here. You also have these lines through the hips and shoulders, which should always be, if one's going up on this way, the other one should be attacking this way. But the line of action is the main thing. Everything flows through that. So I have this character here who is just kind of standing there. I'm messing up the detail with the legs because I tried to put like a robe on this thing. But so he's standing there. He's got this line of action, but he's basically this line. I tried to do something a little fancier with this dynamic pose. So I've got this funny little creature. Again, it's not great art, but the line really helped define how this character was standing. It's kind of a funny pose. The arms all the way up. The rest of the body kind of flows through that. I probably could have done something better with the legs. I'm always messing up with the legs. Here's just a standing pose of a guy. I used the entire page. Straight line. Everything just kind of falls down along that line. And lines of action are really great for defining how these characters are moving. Like this one's sitting, and it was just a very simple line. This one has this big curve, and he looks like he's jumping in the air for joy, or maybe something exploded behind him. This one's ducking because of that explosion. This guy's just here just because. This is supposed to be somebody standing on his hands with his legs overhead like that, but I didn't like how that came out. This is actually the same line of action as this one, and it's a guy running. And the other big thing besides line of action was the weight and balance of a character. So this guy's running, and the leg is sticking out this way to kind of balance everything else. Similarly, I tried something like that with the hand sticking out here. This guy's jumping, and everything kind of is balanced. Even though the front of his body is off center, the top and bottom are compensating for that. This is my last thing I tried drawing for this. I was trying to get this idea of a wizard charging up something by hiding it behind him and then launching it. So he's charging up some kind of power, And I kept getting this messed up. Like, I tried fleshing it in, but I realized he was standing kind of funny. So I tried again on this side. You know, I got the line. And I realized what was the problem was when I stood up and actually tried to hold the pose myself, I realized I had the knees bending wrong. But the line of action was the big thing to help me get the pose right. And I'm sure if I kept going with this, I'd probably eventually get a wizard that would look pretty nice. Now these are not obviously finished drawings. None of these are things I would put in a game as a finished product, but it really helps to you know, keep in mind the lines of action, the weight of the lines as you draw them to keep the depth in there, and what else is there? The weight, the balance of the characters, and then, you know, you also have to be confident in your lines. I think when I was a kid I used to draw these little fuzzy lines because I didn't know how to draw a straight line, but if you just move the pencil, let me see, big thing that I learned with my art friends was instead of holding the pencil like this, you hold it like this, and you can actually get some pretty confident looking lines when you draw. It's a different way. I thought it was kind of weird, but I found out like everyone does it, and there's a reason for it. So hopefully that should help with your own art endeavors. But it also should show you that if you're trying to learn all of this to make a game right now, that's probably why you want to pay an artist. They already do all this stuff. You know, I have to worry about proportions of legs not matching with the character. I have giant heads or small heads, or you know, everything's out of proportion, and it takes me forever to do this, whereas a decent artist probably could have put together a wizard in like 5 seconds on a note, you know, little sticky note, and said, here's some concept art. So, anyways, did I mention the books? Designing Arcade Computer Game Graphics by Ari Feldman was a great find at a bookstore, and Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud, really good at a number of, well, telling you about a number of aspects about comics, but all that apply to video games as well, like the idea of having an abstract face versus a real detailed face. With the abstract face, the reader or the player in a video game can put themselves into that character, whereas with really detailed faces, you're removed and you're, you know, looking at something else as opposed to internalizing it in a way. So anyway, great books and horrible art, and I hope this helps give some insight into the art world for us programmers.